If you have promised yourself over and over 1,000 times that next time you will say no, and then the moment comes where it's time to say it and you just can't do it and you abandon yourself all over again, I want you to know that you're not alone. That is absolutely what we're talking about today. I'm going to let you know exactly why it is that every time you decide that you want to set boundaries, that you want to say no, that you want to stop abandoning yourself, people-pleasing, caretaking in a way that feels like it's violating your sense of self, then this episode is for you. My name is Janice Holland. I am the trauma teacher, and I am here to help you step out of people-pleasing, step out of self-abandonment, and I'm here to help you step into courageous living where your voice leads, where your choices align with your values, and your life finally belongs to you. So let's start off talking about the science of what's going on. People-pleasing is a survival strategy that's wired into your nervous system. When we were children, approval equaled safety. Disapproval equaled a threat. So you may have grown up in a home, which is super common for many of us who are, not so young. It was very common when we were growing up for children to be seen and not heard, or for us to just say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and do what we were told, to not ask questions, to put our head down. And whenever we did this, we were highly praised. We were told that we were amazing, that we were good girls, that we belonged. We were revered among the family members. We were celebrated among family members, celebrated at school. So what happened is we wired into our system, when I am good, when I am pleasing to others, then I belong. And when I belong, I feel safe. Our nervous system its only real design is just to keep you safe. So it memorizes the scenarios and situations in which you are safe. Now, let's say you decided to say no, or you decided, I don't like that, or I don't want to do that, or I don't want to give Aunt Susie a hug, or I don't like that. Then we were often shunned. We were often pushed away. We were often silenced. We were often told, you're bad. You don't belong. You can't be here when you act like that, when you say that, when you have that look on your face. So what happens, as human beings, we're mammals. And so whenever we're told, you can't be with me, you can't be here, you can't belong, then that means we don't feel safe as children. So we hardwire into ourselves that when I say yes, when someone says, thank you, you're amazing, you're so good, then it compounds this feeling of safety and belonging that was really an essential feeling that we had to feel as kids. We have to feel as if we're bonded, as if we belong, as if we're part of the group, that we're protected. And so we adapt and adopt these behaviors, whatever behaviors we're told we need, in order to feel safe, like we're belong and like we're protected, right? But as we become adults, what happens is our unconscious mind, our nervous system doesn't really understand that that's no longer the case, that we can create safety for ourselves, that we can create belonging for ourselves, even with voice, choice, and opinion. Research tells us that 80% of women with autoimmune disorders have a history of difficult childhoods where they were silenced and they don't feel that they can give themselves voice and choice even currently in their life now. So there is a direct correlation between autoimmune disorders, anxiety, depression, physical dysfunction, and our inability to give ourselves a voice, much less feeling overwhelmed, feeling like we have this life and it's actually a beautiful life. And most of the people in our lives are really happy. They feel taken care of, seen, wanted, understood, but we feel empty. We feel like we could walk away at any moment, and we feel horrible for having those thoughts and feelings. And the reason is you aren't really present. Who you actually are, your voice, you aren't actually being seen. You have this protective wall in front of you of the facade of what other people need and want, but you don't actually feel safe enough to truly reveal your heart and your thoughts and your wants and your needs. And it comes down to safety. That's why whenever you make that promise to yourself, next time I'm going to say no, next time I'm going to have an opinion, next time I'm going to give myself a voice, it's not weakness that you freeze every time and just can't do it. It's not weakness. It is all about safety and survival that's hardwired within your system. All right. So let's look at how this may be showing up daily in your life. You are, like I said, you're saying yes when you want to say no. You're constantly apologizing. I'm sorry. I didn't understand you. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry. I don't know what to do here. I'm sorry. Like saying over and over again, I'm sorry, to people in your family or to people that you work with or at church or in whatever community groups that you're in. You're over giving at work, in relationships, and in your family. So this is kind of maybe an extortion of some of your natural giftings. And I think this is why this may be confusing for a lot of people is maybe you're actually really good at giving. You're actually good at taking care of things, of noticing details, of managing projects, of pulling together events. Like those are things that you really enjoy and that you're really good at. But the problem is if you are doing that in exhaustion, if you're doing it past the capacity of what your mental, physical, emotional load can handle, if you are consistently giving and working and managing and taking care, but now not allowing yourself to rest and restore, not allowing yourself to receive the support and help from people around you, that's when it crosses over the line of what we call caretaker syndrome or people pleasing. There's no balance in place. There's no ability to, like I said, to receive that support and help or to do all the things that you love to do, but understand what your limits are and say, no, I can't take on that project, or I'm not going to be able to host that baby shower or whatever it is, because you just are at capacity in that moment in time. It's like you literally can't even read your body signals that say, I'm at capacity, I can't do it. It's like you've shut off your ability to understand the signals that your body or your nervous system may be giving you. All right. Maybe you're experiencing the physical costs of this. Consistent fatigue, some underlying resentment, some disconnection. Like I said, kind of feeling numb, feeling like these really guilty feelings because you have a beautiful life, but you feel it also like you could walk away from it and it wouldn't really mean anything to you. And like, it's hard to even admit to yourself that you have those thoughts and feelings. It's sort of like feeling like you're a stranger in your own story. And I definitely remember when I was in that space, and I remember feeling so guilty because I had this beautiful home that I built. I had a husband, I had 2 kids. We had what looked like a really picture perfect life, but I felt empty inside. I almost felt dead inside. I felt like I was sleepwalking in this story that looked like what everyone said it should look like. And the people in my life really saw me and cared about me and wanted me around. But it was because I helped them feel seen and wanted and taken care of. But I never felt safe enough to open up and allow myself to feel seen and wanted and taken care of. And that was a big missing piece for me. And it just felt too vulnerable at the time because it didn't feel safe. It didn't feel like, because that's not the role that I had learned that I needed to play in order to be able to be acceptable within my home and within my community. Okay, so let's look at why can't I just stop? So you maybe you're understanding this. You've been listening to podcasts, listening to me, and you're like, okay, I understand that it's time to start speaking up. It's time to start giving myself a voice. But my body literally physically won't let me, right? And I just want you to know this is normal, that I understand. This is how powerful the safety mechanisms within our body are. They are designed to keep us alive at all costs in any scenario, in any situation. So now, no matter how much you want to change, your body is not going to allow you to change until you begin to construct a sense of safety within yourself. We have to reconstruct and reteach our nervous system that we are safe within our body, that we're safe if somebody disagrees with us, because it's still trained in this old thought pattern of, if I disappoint somebody, it feels like life or death, because as a kid, it is life or death. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it really is true. Before the age of 12, we have to have connection to our community, to our family. We have to feel bonded in order to stay alive. And so our system will do whatever it needs to do to feel a sense of connection so that it can stay alive. And if it needed to completely abandon all of our needs, all of our wants, all of our desires, all of our feelings in order to create a sense of safety and belonging, then our system doesn't know to do anything differently until we reteach it. My husband can be mad at me and I'm going to be okay. My kids can feel disappointed in this choice that I'm making, and it's not life or death for me anymore. I can sit with the discomfort, that I can handle the discomfort of their disappointment. And this is so challenging to reteach and retrain. If you don't create safety in your body first, or you will feel like you're failing, right? And what I want you to hear me say is that you're not weak, that you're not failing. Your survival system is so powerful and strong. It will override your will 100% of the time. It absolutely will. So let's look at how then do I create safety within my body to calm my nervous system so that I can begin to make some changes in how I respond to other people and how I show up so that I can give myself a voice and feel like I am a leading lady in my own life. All right. So the first step, so that you can feel like you're the lead character in your own life and you are fully available to love on the people in your life as much as you want, but you understand that when your body and your system and your mind and your heart are tired, you can rest. If somebody says, hey, can I help you with that? Or hey, can I do this for you? You will gladly receive that support and help because you don't feel like you are disappointing or burdening other people just by being a human being. Right. And these are the thoughts and feelings that we tend to hold and carry whenever we have learned to self-abandon and ignore our own needs in order to support and help and meet the needs of other people. So I've got 3 steps that we can take right now to begin to unwind this people-pleasing syndrome. Okay. So step number 1 is awareness without judgment. So next time you catch yourself nodding and saying yes when you really don't feel like doing something or you don't have capacity to do it, or when your kids are begging you to buy something and you just buy it because you don't want to disappoint them, or, I could go on and on with the scenarios. What I want you to do is just say, thank you, survival brain, for trying to protect me. I recognize what's happening now. So instead of getting mad at yourself, instead of beating yourself up, instead of getting overwhelmed and disappointed, I want you to just say, okay, I understand what's happening now. This is how powerful and strong my survival brain is, my survival mechanisms within my system. Maybe notice what sensations are in your body. Is your chest tight? Are your shoulders coming together? Or is your breathing more shallow? Like, look somatically at what's happening in your body, the restrictions that are coming up whenever you are faced with a choice to meet somebody else's need at the sake of your own. All right. So again, I want to reemphasize this is a big key difference. You may be somebody who is naturally very good at and gifted at seeing other people's needs and meeting their needs. And it is part of your love language. It's part of how you connect with people. That's amazing. I want you to keep doing that. We're not saying don't do that anymore. What we're saying is recognizing when you are doing those things, meeting other people's needs, saying yes to other people, and abandoning your own needs. That's what we're working on stopping. All right. So absolutely caretake, project manage, do all the things. But whenever your body sends signals, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I need a break, I need support, I need help, I need rest, you can listen to those signals and take care of it rather than shutting it down and doing the support thing anyway, right? That's kind of where we cross over into that people-pleasing syndrome. So the first thing is awareness without judgment, just understanding systematically what's going on within your body and having grace and understanding that this is a survival strategy that you developed and it's a learned behavior. And the good news about that is anything that's learned, we can unlearn or we can learn a different way. All right. Okay. So step number 2 is what I call micro boundaries. So I want you to look for low stakes situations. So areas of your life where it just isn't going to cost you quite as much to say no to somebody or to start setting soft boundaries. And instead, if it still feels too confrontational or too strong to say no, or I can't do that, or I don't want to do that, I want you to practice what I call pause and reset. Let me get back to you. All right. So let's say that the PTA president, you're at drop off with the kids and the PTA mom is like, hey, can you bake 2 dozen cookies for Friday? Take a deep breath, pause, check with your body. Is it like a yes? That's exciting. I love to bake and I want to do that. I'm excited. Or pause, take a break, reset. Oh my God, I have this, and this to do. There's no way I'm going to have to stay up all night Thursday night and get that done. Like, yeah, sure, right? Instead of saying that, just say, let me check my calendar and get back to you. That gives you a little bit of a buffer zone, a little bit of time to regroup. Think of how you want to say, I'm not available. I can't. Use ChatGPT to help you when you write that text so that it's, if you need support and help, and saying it in a kind way. But this is a way that you can begin to create those buffer zones in low stakes situations So I want you to go ahead and think of the areas of your life that feel low stakes to you now. Maybe work is low stakes for you. Like you do your job, you're good at your job, but it's a little bit easier to set boundaries there for you. Maybe it's with family members or your husband or your children. Like I said, maybe it's like other moms or in your social community. Kind of rank the people that it's hardest to say no to. And the other times or other people that it's like, oh yeah, I do feel a little more comfortable in that situation. And really start practicing these micro boundaries. Pause, listen to your body. And if you're like, I don't know, I can't assess my body in that quick of amount of time, then just have a few key phrases ready to go. Hey, let me get back to you. Let me check my calendar. Let me check with my partner. Oh gosh, I can't remember if I have something else that day. Let me come back to you. Like just have a few things to give yourself that buffer so that you can really then take a moment, take some deep breaths, do whatever you need to do to just kind of, okay, is this something that I really want to do? And if it's not something you want to do, then maybe at first it's easier to text a no rather than a face-to-face no. And like I said, use ChatGPT to help you construct a phrase that feels comfortable to you so that you don't feel like you're being too confrontational or too disappointing. It's okay to baby step your way into this, because what's going to happen is every time you set a micro boundary, every time you follow through with taking care of yourself, you are reteaching your nervous system an experience where you do that and you're safe. And it's like, I thought something really bad was going to happen, and nothing really bad happened. I'm okay. Right? Or even if most of the time that's the case, most of the time the person's like, okay, cool, I'll ask somebody else. It's no big deal. Yeah, there are situations, there are some people who will let you know how disappointed they are in your choice. But even in that, it's uncomfortable. It's hard. But even in that, it's like, I'm handling it. I'm okay. I'm not dying. It's like our mind just comes up with all these fantasies about how horrible it's going to be. And then we realize, like, I am handling this. I'm okay. So again, every time you give yourself one of those experiences, then you're reteaching your nervous system, like, I can handle conflict. I can handle emotional dysregulation. I can handle people being a little frustrated or disappointed or upset. Nothing bad happens to me whenever I start setting boundaries. And then it will start giving you permission to set them more and more and more often. You won't need that buffer anymore of that pause or saying, let me think about it or let me get back to you. But it's going to take a little bit of time to practice it. Okay, so now let's look at number 3. I've already kind of woven it a little bit into number 2, and it is check with your body. What are my body signals? What happens in my body when I just don't feel like I can do something, or I just don't want to do something? I don't want to bake cookies for PTA, for my kids' classroom for Friday. I just don't want to do that. But what does that feel like in my body? Like I said, does your chest get tight? Do your shoulders come up? Some people like clench their knees. Maybe your hands get tingly. Like, what is it that you feel in your body that's signaling you, say no, I don't want to. I don't like that. All right. And this is such a big deal for you to begin to be okay with just not liking something, not liking to do something. And it's okay. Maybe you don't like to bake, so don't bake. Maybe you don't like to go to certain kinds of restaurants or eat certain kinds of food. Maybe there is a work project that is like, you have so many that you need to get done that you just can't do something, or you don't want to do something. Like learning to negotiate that, communicate that, learning to give yourself a voice. That's what's going to give you that calm feeling. That's what's going to give you a sense of pride, because most every people pleaser, and maybe actually, I can't think of one that this is not true, has incredible amounts of resentment towards the people who are taking advantage of them, because they just tend to find us and do that. But there is a deep, deep, deep sense of self-loathing, self-hatred for feeling weak, for feeling like, how could I let people just walk all over me like that? Like just kind of a personal disgust. And I want you to know, first of all, that it's understandable that you feel that way. It's quite unfair to treat yourself that way. And I hope that this episode has taught you a little bit about why that would be unfair. And beginning to give yourself these micro moments, these wins, understanding your body signals, beginning to give yourself buffer zones of, hey, let me get back to you. And then, having the courage to say no, even if initially it's through texting or through a phone call rather than face to face, however it is, you're going to begin to feel like you can breathe again. You're going to feel so much more empowered. You're going to feel you can stand with a straight back, because there's just nothing like that feeling of giving yourself a voice, of feeling really proud of standing up for yourself and communicating your needs and your wants. And this is what I call courageous living. Courageous living is being truly authentically you, understanding who you are, what you want, and feeling free to express yourself as that person. So I hope that you found this episode helpful. This has been a really powerful lesson that I've learned in my life over the years. I have an incredible guide for you. It's called Finally at Peace. It's in the description box below. It's totally free. Feel free to grab it. I also have some other resources there for you to check out, and I will see you next time.